Greetings, family. I am here outside in a neighborhood outside of Dallas, Texas, and I'm documenting a peculiar anomaly that I'm noticing with the sun and the moon in the sky. So the conversation between the flat earth and globe community, is the earth a spinning globe revolving around a sun, and is the sun the source of light for the moon? Well, we've got some glaring issues and problems with the heliocentric model. We have some contradictions and some fallacies, and I'm going to document one of them for you today. So, first of all, I want to show you the sun is directly setting to the west here from Dallas. And when we're talking and dealing with light versus shadows, now, as we can all agree on the heliocentric model, the sun is apparently lighting up the moon and reflecting its light off of the moon, shining its light onto Earth, from the moon to the Earth. So, when we observe light and shadows, it's a very simple process. There's no special physics, there's no crazy math formulas involved. It's a source of light hitting an object and then casting a shadow directly opposite of that source of light. So here we go. There's my shadow right here. Here's the tree shadow. You could see all of the shadows of all of these items casting directly away from the sun. That way, which is east. Turning around a full 180, there's west. There's the sun going down, setting. Now the sun was traversing all the way across the sky all day today. The sun was up here and it came all the way down. I watched it several hours till it's setting there. I want to document something here. We're going to look at the moon now. Look where the moon is. Let me zoom in on this and look where the shadow is. The shadow of the moon is on the bottom. Do you see that? Again, I want you to put it in your mind and remember the sun is directly behind me. The bottom of the moon is casting a shadow, meaning the sun would have to be up here, above it. The sun would have to be way up here to cast that shadow on the moon, to cast the light on the moon on the top side. The light is on the top and the shadow's on the bottom. I'm pointing east. Here it is again, the shadows going straight that way. There's my hand again. Shadows are going that way. So that means the sun is over here behind me, and look at that. That means the moon should be completely lit up. It should be completely full from my vantage point, and the shadow should be behind it from my vantage point. That's not what we see. It does not remain consistent with the shadows that we're looking at on the ground right here. So I'm going to walk around this little park and I'm going to show a little demonstration again of more shadows. You can see it, the sun shining across this flat level water, and again, going over my last experiment, the earth is 75% water, covered in 75% water. Therefore, the earth is 70% flat, because not one person on the face of the planet on earth can demonstrate a measurable curve from one side of the ocean shore to another side of the ocean shore. So there would have to be a bulge of water going like that over the top from one end to the other side. That's what would absolutely have to be true if the earth was a globe. And globeheads often ask, well, wouldn't you fall off the edge? Why don't you jump off the edge? Flat tard. How does the water stay inside the container of the flat earth? Derp, 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 dee-doo. Well, as you see here, globe gobblers, defenders of balls, worshippers of balls, you can see the water is contained within the walls of this container. And that is what Antarctica represents around the center of the earth. So that fountain there can represent all of the continents: North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia. all around that center area, and the water, the oceans remain flat all the way around, and this is Antarctica. Antarctica would be wrapping around just like so. Now, we don't know what's beyond because nobody's allowed to go beyond. All right, not to mention it's sub-zero temperatures. Even if you did have millions of dollars to make a scientific expedition, first you got to get permission from the government. You got to get permission from the United Nations and the Antarctica Treaty personnel. But you've also got to be tough and have the wherewithal, the resources, and the experience and the training to actually survive in sub-zero temperatures deep into Antarctica. So your arguments, show us a picture of the edge, is null and void because you yourself can't even make it to the edge. We don't know what's beyond the ice wall edge. All we know is there's ice, and it could be going on for an infinite amount of time. We don't know, so we don't make assumptions. All right, that's not what we do in the flat earth community. We're all about science and evidence. Here's some more shadows facing due east. I'm going to go to this spherical looking thing over here and do a little film of this. Got a bunch of kids playing in the playground here. Here we got a random shaped rock, which is another point I want to make. The earth is said to be a random shaped rock like this. The earth is not actually a sphere, but they claim that gravity morphs the ocean water around this rock, a random shaped rock, and creates a perfect sphere. Absolutely ridiculous. So here we go. We have a sphere looking object here that is facing the sun, and this sphere object here is being lit up by the sun right over here. And so we got light on this side of this sphere object, and we've got shadows on the other side. So the back side is darker, obviously, because that's what light and shadows do. It's darker back here, and you can see the shadow of this structure going behind it. Here's my shadow again. The clouds are kind of messing with the shadow now, but you can see, there you go, you can see my shadow a little bit better. That's my shadow. Here's the moon. Shadow on the bottom. Shadow on the bottom. How is that possible? If the sun is actually the cause of the light on the moon. If the sun is lighting the moon, there is no trickery, there is no special formulas or physics or science. It's just basic light and shadows and angles, geometry. Simple geometry, angles. There's the moon. I'm going to do a 180. There's the west. There's the sun. The sun is down on the horizon. 180, boom, here's my shadow right in front of me. That means the sun is right behind me. The sun is pointing that way. So then, why is the moon not full? And why is the shadow on the bottom? Riddle me this, globe worshippers. That's right, globe community. We are crushing your balls, one experiment at a time. Now, 40 years of my life, I didn't think to question these things. 40 years of my life, I thought the earth was a spinning globe. I believed the mainstream narrative. I accepted whatever I was taught in school. And by the way, we were taught in school the same indoctrination as you were. So your whole arguments that, oh, you just don't get it. You guys didn't go to school, you guys eat paint chips, and you were dropped on your head when you were a kid because you don't understand the model. No, we actually understand the model way better than you do. The reason why we become flat earthers is because we understand the model so much, and that we're figuring out these discrepancies that don't make any sense. So that is why we are challenging it. So those of you that are upset about this challenge, us asking questions and pointing out things, which is really the definition of science, that's exactly what science does. Science seeks to prove itself wrong. So those of you who claim the earth is proven by, the globe earth is proven by science, and that's it, game over, no more, nobody ask any more questions, you're committing a logical fallacy there, and you don't even know what the definition of science is. Science is the repeated observation, experimentation, conducting of hypothesis, finding out new conclusions based on new evidence, new information. And now we got some new information. Guess what? The sun isn't providing the light for the moon. The moon is its own light source. And I will share an experiment that I've done to prove that to you. But right now we've got a severe discrepancy, and that moon shadow on the bottom of the moon right here is not inconsistent with the sunlight that's coming from over here. You better check yourself, ball worshippers. You better check yourself, because the globe is dead. Here it is in 2018, and you've heard it from Miguel Angel. And be sure to check out the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion group and come bring your arguments to the table. We want to hear what you think and what your theories are, but you need to come with some evidence, because you can't just come regurgitating and parroting what you were taught. True evidence, true science is what you can prove and demonstrate yourself, not just repeating what you memorized in school. That's right. The earth is flat, y'all. Keep it flat. 2018. Signing off.